Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE. We are here in our NYSE CUBE studios on the East Coast. Of course, we got our Palo Alto studios connecting Wall Street and Silicon Valley, tech and money. The technology is the market. We got you covered, and this is Retail Week as NRF kicks off the year. Right on the heels of CES, a 1-2 punch, physical AI at CES and all things connected, and now with retail, all things agentic. As data becomes the value proposition, it's all about the infrastructure and how that's deployed. We have a return guest, Justin Honaman is here, head of worldwide retail, restaurants, and consumer goods, business development at Amazon. Justin, great to see you again for a repeat performance. Last year, you were here.
A year ago this week, right after CES, we did the first interview, and I'm so glad to be back. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have you back because now we have a historical perspective. Last year we were kind of scratching the surface. We were talking a little bit about, kind of the just walk out that Amazon has, some of the things around agents and the role of data, the user experiences. Now 1 year in,
That's right.
I mean, my hair got grayer. It's crazier. I can't believe how much success has been achieved, even in the face of all the naysayers. Oh, agents are failing more, and 80%, whatever that stat was, all wrong, was debunked by us. There are real use cases coming out of NRF where people are seeing record profits, record revenue, significant needle moving activities.
No doubt, yeah, so first, thanks for having me back. A year ago, we had just launched actually some of our own models in the generative AI space. If you remember, coming into last year, generative AI was the talk of NRF, and quite frankly, a lot of our customers were beyond just testing. They were into production in many different use cases, and we'll talk about some of those today. A year later, AI absolutely is the main topic over at the NRF show. Certainly was for us at AWS, and in many ways showing how customers can bring that to life, including in traditional AI, generative AI, and of course, agentic.
I got to ask you about NRF. I haven't been on the floor. Our team's been there. Bob La Liberté, one of our analysts covering the sector, as well as our other team members. One, they said 40,000 plus people. The show was buzzing. What is your verdict this year? What's your takeaway? I mean, we know agents hot, obviously there, but sure. What was the theme? What were some of the hallway conversations? What were some of your meetings like? Take us through what's happening.
Yeah, so this is our biggest retail event of the year at AWS, and for most of the companies in the tech space, it is the premier retail event of the year. For us, the big focus was on how you leverage AI in the future and how you bring it to life now. So we focused on a couple things. We talked about agentic AIs related to product innovation, how you can accelerate what usually takes months on end to develop a new product and bring it to market. We've showed this week how agents can work together and do that in a couple of days or weeks. We also talked about marketing and advertising and how to connect with the customer in new and different ways. We talked about omni-channel commerce, of course, and how AI is bringing things to life like AR, VR, and virtual try-on, right? Amazing. And then in the supply chain space, the area where you really need an unlock in retail, there's a real opportunity for agents to work together to help with supply chain challenges or gaps, as well as how they can work together to make things more efficient and still have human in the loop. And so when you ask about like the conversations at our booth, man, packed over the 3 days with people wanting to learn, a lot of international customers as well as domestic, a lot of opportunities not only to do things like this in the press space, but meet the top analysts in retail, meet new and potential customers, as well as kind of double down with existing customers on what's possible.
You know, at AWS this year, I had a chance to speak with a couple executives on the AWS team. Colleen Aubrey, former Amazon, she's now over there doing the big Connect and other things. Just walk out, some of those cool things. And Matt Garman, the CEO, and Swami, who runs all the AI stuff. The Frontier Agent thing announcement was huge. I think it's consistent to me from NRF that signal is coming fast. Like with that whole idea of have your own model and then use the big frontier models, LLMs, and take what you need and bake it into yours. And that's a winning formula, in my opinion. So hats off to Amazon Web Services for that. But take that to the retail example, because that seems to be where the puck is going, or is now, because everyone's talking about, I need to have my data.
Sure.
I got to have my own models. There's also a development vibe now coming into retail. Are you seeing those things too?
Interesting. So we've invested, heavily in three different levels of the AI stack, if you want to call it that. Obviously chips, models in our platform called Bedrock, where you have model choice for all kinds of different generative AI models, and then the application layer where you can develop and launch applications on your own, or many of our partners run their applications on AWS. So, but you're right, there's a lot of interest in AI, a lot of customers leaning into AI. Many of the retailers we work with struggle with their data. There's still a lot of challenges around clean data, integrated data, access to data, and then because if you don't have good access to data or clean data, you're not going to get the good results you need and want out of leveraging AI models. So we're involved in all aspects of that. Our customers come to us for coaching and advice as much as the solutions that they can take advantage of with their customers and in their customer relationship.
On the event here, partnerships and ecosystem, another big factor. What's
Absolutely.
your take on that?
Yeah, so one of our greatest value propositions in retail is our partner ecosystem. There's no doubt, it's extensive, it's global. We have it well mapped in each geography in terms of capabilities and solutions and which partners are best for our customers to work with. And we bring that to life in our booth here. So like in our booth here at NRF, we had Stripe, we had Forder, we had Last Yard, like we had multiple partners there showing what they're doing with the technology from AWS and how they're making a better customer experience. And it's a powerful differentiating factor for us. Our partner ecosystem is unique, especially because it's also aligned around retail.
Yeah, well, first of all, Amazon always had good partner network dynamics. Retail, I won't say it's slow to evolve. I mean, telco is probably the slowest vertical, but I think that's going to move a lot faster with the data and the automation. But retail, they move fast enough at the speed of money. Well, and money's on the table, consumers vote with their wallet, and so they're honed in on the customer. If they're not spending, all the alarms go off.
It's easy to get enamored with the technology, but when we sit down with a customer, we'll start with what's the experience you want to create for the consumer or shopper. And if you look at the last 12 months since we last saw each other, a lot of things have shifted and changed. I mean, like the idea of shopping on a large language model or going to a large language model for search, people weren't doing that like 12 months ago. The capabilities now with personalization that we've brought to life with our customers, that's different and unique, right? That's something that our customers need help with.
The LLM is the interface. Agents make that better and smarter.
And the consumer, all they care about is a good experience, being able to find what they want, the best price, get it when they need it. And in the meantime, our retailers, or whether they're digital natives or physical store retailers, are trying to serve that customer and meet them where they are. And they come to us and our partners to say, okay, what do you have and how can we leverage it quickly to create a better experience?
All right, Justin, talk about your business. You do biz dev, global, retail restaurants and consumer goods. What's it been like? What's the sentiment of the customer? Enthusiastic, confident, challenging? Are they neutral? Are they just playing with options? Where are they on the spectrum of attitude?
Yeah, so for those that may not be familiar with our industry model, we moved to an industry aligned model over the last couple of years. So within our area, you have retail, traditional retail, you have food service and the distributors in food service, you have consumer packaged goods, and now we have restaurants. So I think of like a Yum Brands, for example, in that scenario. So you're really thinking about it from a consumer industry's perspective. And what's unique about us as well is we hire people that worked in the industry. People
they know the domain.
They've been there. They've been the buyer. They've been the ones on the customer side. So it changes the game when you're sitting down with the customer and the customer knows you've sat in their seat. It's a differentiating factor. Okay, so then coming into this year, we just had this conversation earlier today, a number of us, really positive momentum in retail. The retailers are leaning in, wanting to invest and to learn. Many of them have already tested out the generative AI capabilities that we have and others have. Many of them have figured out like what are the good use cases, and we help them to navigate that. Many of them want to at least understand agents, while most are not really there yet. And so coming into this year, you're not seeing store closings, negativity in the market, major concerns. There was a lot of optimism and a lot of companies really leaning in this week.
Yeah, I was just posting on LinkedIn, a lot of folks networking, a lot of the technology is being abstracted away. brittle IT infrastructures are moving to the cloud, and if they do maintain on-prem, it's hybrid, so it's essentially distributed computing, which works well for edge.
Yeah, you're right. So when you think about a retailer's, one of their biggest challenges is many of them built their e-commerce business separate from stores, and that data is not integrated. So that's a challenge that many of them are looking to address. But on the e-commerce side, you're right, moving to more flexible, modern, composable, you might hear that type of word, headless, capability and architecture, something that has been a priority for retailers with e-commerce and also the digital pure plays like a Mercado Libre in Latin America that's pure play, runs on AWS, competes against Amazon, but completely runs on AWS.
What's the biggest surprise this year, and what is the most misunderstood story that should be told?
I think one interesting part of our story this week was sharing the where we are today and where we're going with Project Leo. Amazon Leo. It's our low Earth orbit satellite business, and 180 satellites have been launched. There's 3,200 more about to be launched, and now for retailers or consumer goods brands that have locations maybe in disparate parts of their country, you're going to have access to internet. I mean, it's powerful. Yeah. Think about your point of sale systems and the types of analytics that you'd like to run, but you just can't because you don't have
bandwidth is the #1 constraint on local locations.
So it's for this week.
Warehouses have the fat pipe probably, but not like some retail outlet. It might be that you can't be moving a lot of data. If they're using computer vision, keep that local. You pass the metadata.
Right, but now, so with Leo, as those satellites get into orbit, and that coverage model expands in the next couple of weeks and months, that's interesting. So it was the analysts that visited today and the retailers that came, they all wanted to dive into agentic AI. We did that. We showed it how it can work. They all wanted to dive into generative AI and things like contact center and virtual try-on and assessment of clothing and your body and how to make it better. And many of them were surprised to come and learn about where we are with Leo.
Justin, what's your focus this year? What's on your agenda? Put a plug in for what your goals are.
I'd say coming into this year, it's staying ahead of our customers on the AI front so that we can help them to navigate that. So, and we're doing that already, but our customers, it's confusing. I mean, if you look at the last couple of years, I mean, a lot has changed. You have the kind of this launch of generative AI, you have this launch of many different types of models that, again, accessible via Bedrock. You have a lot of discussion about use cases. You have many customers saying, what's real? What's ideal? Like, give me the kind of, what are others finding that's valuable, where there's cost savings or efficiency, and what should I be taking advantage of? And so that's something our team has been focused on, is like all of those buckets and applying the industry overlay. So we're following those different technology evolutions and growth as it happens very quickly, and helping our customers to understand what it means to them.
And you guys have a lot of scale you bring to the table.
That's one of the things we're known for. I mean, our team, the team that I have a chance to work with, is a global team. They sit in different geographies. They're aligned to the customers in those geographies. And our job is very quickly, as the tech is here, to be able to bring that message to them about how they can take advantage of it and get signals back. What is it you're needing, so we can be thinking about future solutions.
I think your point about the low satellite orbit and the networking side is a huge deal. That is not
unexpected.
It's not a mainstream Amazon topic, but it's super relevant for retail, healthcare, these verticals that rely on connectivity, where there'll be AI factories on premise, talking to the cloud, in a distributed manner. I think that's going to be a big story.
Yeah, you go to Latin America and you go to some retail stores outside of a major city like Santiago, there's not Wi-Fi, there's not cell coverage. So, this gives you an option. You go to many parts of the US in the consumer goods space, and you've got manufacturing facilities in rough locations, right? And so it provides an option.
All right, final point, I'm going to put you on the spot here. An easy one to start. Quick summary of NRF this year, kind of bumper sticker it for me. And then what do you predict for next year theme?
So agentic AI, no doubt, was the big focus, and bringing it to life for our customers. So again, no demoware, no slideware, no PowerPointware, but actually show me how agents can work together so that I can take what's complex.
Real scenarios.
Right, real scenarios. And we did that around product innovation and around supply chain. Amazing, right? Double down on the generative AI use cases where customers can really take advantage of, like in our Connect solutions, our contact solutions now. Contact Center solution has got generative AI like built in. It's amazing.
So for next year, results will be the theme?
Yeah.
Show me the money,
no
show me the results,
no doubt.
Prove it to me?
Even coming into this year, it's like, again, our customers are looking for what are the use cases that are working, bring those to life for me so I can take advantage of those. And I expect there to be, as fast as things are moving, there'll be new technology, new models, new capabilities that we're not even talking about now. I mean, this is changing every couple weeks. That's how
I mean, my big takeaway from all the interviews so far and just reading and getting the analysts from our team briefing us is that the strategy risk is not the issue. AI is clearly the strategy, it's the execution risk.
That's right.
What are we doing? What's the sequence? What are we going after? What problems are we going after? What proof points? How do we get the flywheel going?
Yeah,
seems to be the theme.
An example on that, just about every executive briefing we're doing now, the customer has a question on operating model. Like, what should be the operating model of the future? How should we be leveraging AI as part of that model? Like, how are others doing it? There's no one way, but like, what are we seeing and how can we help?
Well, my story I wrote on Sunday morning, headline is, Retail 2026, when AI becomes the operating system. A little bit nerdy,
we didn't talk about that before.
Very cloud, but I mean, it's a threshold has been crossed. All the signals point from supply chain to boardroom. Everyone wants to see the operating model, what's the system, what are the key elements, what's the I/O. I hate to be nerdy, but it feels like an NVIDIA, AWS tech conversation happening in a business construct.
Well, and when you say the word board, like the ones that are doing it well, the CEO is realizing and says that AI is not the job of IT. AI is part of our business. It's a line of business priority. It involves all parts of our business. It's not just an IT problem.
Well, I mean, the conversations we've been having, it's like, okay, this is a risk management, top line revenue. This is a CFO, CEO, chief data officer, chief AI officer, business unit leader as stakeholders, because if the supply chain doesn't work, you lose money. If you don't get the products in front of the customer and they have a bad experience, you lose money. If you get it right, you make money. So it's kind of like, where's the beef?
Absolutely, and again, all of that, though, you've still got to put your customer in the center of that so that you're not just doing technology for technology's sake or cleaning up data for data's sake, but we're doing it to make a better customer experience.
Justin, great to see you.
Yeah,
thanks for coming in.
Do it again next year.
Yeah, I think make it an annual thing. It's set piece in our coverage.
That'll be great.
Thanks for coming in. Okay, AWS and Amazon really kind of having the building blocks, but again, this is a retail conversation. It's about AI, it's about technology, the user experience and all the new things that are going to open up, but also the business operations, execution, and all that's involved in making money and making happy customers happening here in retail, and AI will be powering it and changing it. We got you covered. Thanks for watching.